First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
A sea of orange and blue will fill the historic Alamo Arena later tonight, and even more fans are ready to cheer on the team right here at home. This is WUFT's First at 5. I'm Kirsten Maselka.
And I'm Bernardo Montas. It's been nearly 20 years since the Gators last won the national championship. The team has come away with the win in their last 2 trips, something they hope to repeat tonight.
We've got live team coverage of how the Gators, the University of Florida, and Gainesville are preparing for tonight's big matchup. Those plans include bracing for severe weather moving into our area, and later we'll hear from the WUFT sports crew, who will be courtside covering the game in San Antonio. The team in San Antonio are not the only people preparing for tonight. From watch parties to beefing up patrols, the city of Gainesville is getting ready to cheer on the Gators right here from home. WUFT's Nicole Beltran continues our team coverage live from downtown at Bo Diddley Plaza. Nicole, the city is planning to show the game on a giant 16 by 9 foot LED screen.
Kirsten, Bernie, the city of Gainesville is preparing for the anticipated match between Florida and Houston. And as you can see behind me, not too much commotion just yet, but the city does plan to host a watch party here at Bo Diddley Plaza. And before any celebration, the city is really pushing for safety.
The fan support's been unbelievable, and this fan base deserves it. They want to see their Gators winning, and it's just been incredible to be a part of this.
As campus crowds with longer lines and louder cheers, the city of Gainesville is looking to join in on the fun, hosting its own celebration for the community. Besides the electric energy echoing throughout, Gainesville is also echoing safety first. According to a press release, the city plans to close nearby roads around 8 p.m., restrict parking, and conduct crowd inspections. Gainesville Fire Rescue is also pushing for safe drinking practices. Mayor Harvey Ward says to make sure the city's celebration reflects the pride and spirit of Gator Nation by keeping our city safe and enjoyable for everyone.
Let's go Gators, let's bring the natty home.
And like I said, not too much commotion just yet, but the city does plan to set up a big TV screen by the stage for fans to enjoy the game in a safe and fun way. Live in Gainesville, I'm Nicole Beltran, WUFT News.
Severe thunderstorms and tornadoes caused major damage to Florida's panhandle, dumping several inches of rain. And that severe weather is what's in store for us around the time of the national championship tips off. Our team coverage continues with UF forecaster Nicole Borman live in the weather studio. Nicole, tonight's storm could dampen plans for fans planning to watch the game outside.
That's right. I know that there is a lot of excitement in the air right now for tonight's game, but so are those thunderstorms. We're seeing the severe risk areas right now covering over the north central area, especially here in Gainesville, home of those Florida Gators. We're cut right in half here for marginal risk and that slight risk, which are at the very end of the scale, but we're still going to be experiencing those 60-mile-per-hour winds and the chance of those isolated tornadoes. Now, right here is the area where the storm is currently passing through. It's at the very end of that panhandle stretch. Right now with those higher thunderstorms happening near Perry and Madison, pushing through the Have towards us later on into the day. Now here's a better view on how long that is stretching over here, even up until Georgia. But here's where that tornado watch is heaviest right now. It's going to be going up until 6 p.m. But later on into the show, I'll be telling you more about what this storm will mean for those Gator fans here, the heavy rain that we're going to be having, and the wind that's going to be passing over Gainesville.
Students started camping out in front of UF's O'Connell Center this morning, well before doors open for tonight's on-campus watch party. UFPD is already working to make sure celebrations are carried out safely. WUFT's Krystal Felix continues our team coverage with a preview of the precautions being put in place.
It may be quiet at the O-Dome right now, but just in a matter of hours, this place will be packed with Gator fans. And UF leaders are spending the day securing campus to make sure everyone is staying safe while having fun.
Students have been lining up, camping out, and getting ready for the big game. But UFPD has been doing some planning of their own to ensure student safety.
So we're optimistic and hopeful that the plan that we have in place with our joint public safety partners will be a success.
The UF Police Department has collaborated with GPD, ACSO, and fire rescue crews to monitor the night's festivities. The O-Dome will hit capacity at 10,000 fans.
U.S. spokesperson Steve Orlando said when the Gators won several championships in a row in football and basketball, the O-Dome hosted a watch party, and this year, the O-Dome is bringing back this tradition.
The cheerleaders there and the dazzlers, and they'll have the court set up just as if it were a game, except the game won't be in Gainesville, it'll be in San Antonio.
In the anticipation of a win, law enforcement will block off the street from Gale Lemrand to 13th starting at tip-off. Chief Knowles encourages all Gator fans to download the Gator Safe app for resources and to stay informed.
The O'Connell Center gates 1 and 3 will open at 7 p.m. The gates will be open until the O-Dome reaches full capacity. At the O'Connell Center, Krystal, Felix, WUFT News.
Police Chief Bart Knowles says you need to only take small steps, like downloading the Gator Safe app, to be safe tonight.
In preparation for the game tonight, the City of Gainesville announced traffic and parking closures around UF and downtown. This includes West University Avenue between Northwest 13th Street and Gale Lemrand Drive, where parking has already been restricted and will be closed to traffic starting at 9 p.m. Over in downtown, parking on some streets near Bo Diddley Plaza will be restricted for the championship watch party at 7 p.m. and will be closed to traffic at 8 p.m. The area impacted includes Southeast 1st Street from University Avenue, south to Southeast 1st Avenue, and from Southeast 1st Street to Southeast 3rd Street. The roads will stay closed until it is safe to reopen, likely in the early hours Tuesday.
Coming up on First at 5, the Swamp Restaurants gets ready to host what we're told is the hottest watch party in town.
That's right, Kirsten. When we get back, you'll meet the fans who camped out overnight for the chance to watch the championship at the iconic restaurant.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
If you're not in San Antonio tonight, you want to be here in Gainesville, where fans waited hours for a spot in front of the big screen.
That's right, Bernie. WFT's Hayli Balgobin joins us live from the Swamp Restaurant. Hayli, you talked with fans who spent all night just for a chance to watch the Gators in action.
There's no fan quite like a Gator fan. Over a dozen tents line this sidewalk. Fans waited over 24 hours to get in. March might be over, but the madness continues. Fans camp on the sidewalk with a smile on their face as they count down the time to the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship game. The Swamp Restaurant and McDitton's Irish Pub boom with business. Some fans line the door at 2:30 Sunday afternoon. Gator fan Will Felgner says it's the Super Bowl for restaurants.
I know they've sold 800 tickets already, and they already got probably over 200 people waiting out here. Swamp, people were camping out overnight in tents and everything. I had some buddies there. So yeah, this place is huge for pretty much every place, every bar, every restaurant in Gainesville. It's probably their best day of the year.
The Swamp purchased extra chairs and tables for the matchup. Managers minimized menus to prepare for the crowd. Another rowdy reptile, Eli Tansig, says the Swamp is the best place to be for the championship.
Staple of Gainesville, I'd say. 2 big TVs, the food is awesome, they got good picture deals and everything.
Fans say the energy and environment is worth the wait.
I think the energy here is great because everyone erupts, everyone's excited, everyone wants to see us win. It's awesome.
Until the doors open and jump ball is in the air, fans here will pass the time with puzzles and card games while waiting in excitement to sit in a seat and watch their favorite team compete in a once-in-a-lifetime game. The doors are finally open. Fans are anxiously waiting inside to watch their Gator boys in pursuit of another national title. Live in Gainesville, Hayli Balgobin, WUFT News.
Storms are likely this evening, then we are much cooler tomorrow. Your forecast is next.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
In my walk to campus this morning, it was great weather, but now it's not looking so hot.
Absolutely, Bernie. It'll be such a bummer if all those fans who waited in line overnight this morning, camped out forever, have their seat outside, and then get rained on.
I know. One of the local bars I know on a rooftop sold 750 tickets in a minute.
Wow.
But for those fans outdoors, you might want to consider bringing an umbrella or your poncho because that storm is going to start tracking out to us in Gainesville during the start and throughout the end of our game right now. This is where the storm is tracked right now, those heavier thunderstorms showing in that darker area, and these red highlighted areas are where those tornado watches are up until 6 p.m. But as the day continues on, those marginal areas are going to continue continue pushing toward the north central area of the state, with Gainesville sitting right smack dab in the middle of it in that marginal risk and that slight risk area, depending on where you're watching from at home. So that means that we're going to be having those heavier wind gusts and the possibility of those lighter tornado storms. And that wind has already been picking up here in Gainesville. I know I had to redo my hair the moment I got to the studio because 32 miles per hour is pretty intense here in the city. And if you've been outside, you felt it too. We got 31 in Stark and 28 in the Bronson, and that area is highlighted here in the northeast part of the state, showing where that wind advisory is up until 9 p.m. tonight, when that game is supposed to be starting. Now here's a better view on where that storm is sitting right now. It's really doing this last stretch on the panhandle until it passes over towards us. Now here's a better track out of how it's going to look for the rest of the night. At 6 p.m. we're seeing as that storm continues to pass throughout our night. Now here's where the important part comes in. The end of that Gators basketball game tonight is supposed to be around 11:30, and that is right when the intensity of the storm is going to be sitting right over Gainesville. So if you're planning on storming the streets after we probably get that really great wind, you might want to reconsider your plans because it's not really looking great for the weather right now. It would be better if it was on any other day. Now, but going into Tuesday morning, we're seeing as that storm passes right through us and we get those clear and nice skies that we've been waiting for all year. Now, right here, we're going to be seeing those lows tomorrow in those mid-50s right here in Gainesville and all of north central Florida, and 58 in Ocala, 54 in the Bronson, and those highs are looking a little bit cooler than we saw last week. Last week, we were seeing them in those 90s, record-breaking heats, but for this week, we're seeing them being in those mid to lower 70s, which is a nice cool change to our week. Now going into your weekend, we're going to be seeing some pretty similar temperatures in those 70s, the lows or those lower temperatures being in those 60s and upper 50s. But for your 7-day forecast, we'll be seeing as that temperature continues to go up and go down and go right back up going into next week with those chances of rain on Friday.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
And once the dust of March Madness settles, Florida football will also be back in action this coming weekend. The Gators will hold their annual Orange and Blue game this Saturday at 1 p.m. In the meantime, we'll have one final check on the weather forecast for tonight's game after the break.
Even though the weather tonight might not be ideal for the NCAA team, Gator fans here tonight, the rest of the week is looking pretty clear. We're not seeing any rain for the rest of the week other until Friday, but those temperatures are staying pretty mild in those upper to mid 70s, even in those lower 80s, with those lows staying pretty precisely in those 50s.
Thanks for joining us. We're back here tomorrow with another edition of First at 5.
But all of your North Central Florida news can be found on WUFT.org. Have a good night.